Good afternoon, everybody. Today I wanted to do a video about enlightenment, and the reason why is because I know, and nobody can convince me otherwise, that we are in crucial times, and this is a time when there is a really big movement by the source behind the scenes in the greatest attempt to wake up the whole human race. And I wish when I was going through my transformation and my journey of enlightenment, that somebody had explained this to me, so I was prepared for what was to come, because it becomes quite surreal and out of this world. So it is my aim to actually explain my story, because other enlightened beings that I've met, they've gone through extremely similar experiences as me. As all of you start waking up, because that's what I intend, that everybody wakes up, then if you watch this video, you can expect how the journey is. It's quite magical. It can be quite confusing, but if you know what's about to happen, then it becomes so much easier, isn't it? That you have that guidance. Oh, that's what I heard that happened. So also there was my aim at the end of the video to reveal the greatest secret of all about what enlightenment truly is, and it's ever so simple. The thing is that when I tell you the secret, not many people says this, hardly any enlightened soul says this, except very, very few, and they just say it as it is. I've only met one who actually said that, and that was after the information was revealed, and that was the time when I really very strongly began to be on the wizard's gate, and then I was oscillating, but because I kept forgetting that. And it's not about rationally understanding this secret, it's about absorbing and assimilating that information to the point that the self-sabotaging patterns don't erase it from your memory, and you're able to remember. When you retain it, is when you are there. That is what enlightenment means. But before going there, I'd like to explain to you a little bit of my journey when I was young, or what happened to me. And I believe that everybody who gets to enlightenment at some point in previous times, it was just kind of like a destiny. They said that it used to be a grace of God. It's not like you said, I want to reach enlightenment, and then boom, you get there because you wish to have that. In the old times, apparently, there were some people who were going to reach enlightenment, and that's how it was going to be. And now we are on the times where they say that everybody will have the choice to choose whether if they want to go to enlightenment or not, and they will meet that one person, and there will be their choice to actually go towards it. And I believe everybody will go towards that. I'm keeping extremely positive. There is lots of discrepancies about, if the whole human race will go back home, and some of them will choose to stay in the matrix. And I believe that the source has got an incredible plan to bring us all home, and that's my hope and intention. So I'm going to tell you how it all started. I was born in a little village in Barcelona, just outside Barcelona, and I was a child of two. So I had an older sister, 4 years old. My family was highly scientific. Yeah? God doesn't exist. At those times, science had improved the existence of a higher source in a way that people could understand. So if you were a scientist, God, it was considered like if you were not intelligent enough to actually understand that God is just something populated by society. So that was my family beliefs. And there was I being born knowing that, knowing that God existed. Nobody could convince me otherwise. It's just an inner knowingness, not my family, not anybody. The amazing thing is that the only private school that was good in the village was run by nuns. So that was the school I had to go to. I hated it. I couldn't stand it. I did not want to go. It was getting on my way of me working out the truth and the puzzle. But anyway, from very young age, about whenever I was able to speak properly, that I was able to have a conversation and be understood. And I remember going to my father and saying to him, Dad, what am I doing here? And my dad just looked at me quite puzzled. Wasn't expecting that, and he started explaining to me, well, I fell in love with your mom, and then we got together. He was gonna explain to me all the biological process, and I said, no, that I know that. I understand that I come from you, and and mom gave birth. I don't have any, any doubts of that, but I'm asking, what am I doing in this world when I don't come from this world? This is not the world I belong, and I know that there's something wrong with this world. I don't understand why, but can you please explain to me the reason why I'm here? My dad just looked at me. I thought, oh my God, where does that one come from? Because my sister was the opposite. She was into toys, fashion, celebrities, and she took all my parents' time. I was on my own little plane trying to work out the truth. And my dad didn't know what to say. I said, well, have you asked the nuns in the school, I said, yes, I've asked everybody, but nobody seems to actually give me an answer. And you are my father, you're supposed to know this. Why don't you know? I got really upset. How come my father and people who are supposed to teach me don't know this? How come people don't see that the world is upside down, that something is very wrong, and that there's got to be a truth? I didn't know what it was. But I had this burning desire to find out the truth, and nothing was more important. And I believe that was what got me there. Yes, asking the questions was kind of driving me insane, but to begin with, are those questions that take you there till you realize that you shouldn't be asking the questions. You just need to go with the flow, and the information will just be downloaded and revealed to you. But obviously at that time I had no idea, so all I was doing was asking. So anyway, nobody was giving me the answers. And then I thought, right, I'm going to go to the Bible, because according to the nuns in my school, the Bible is the Word of God. So got the Bible. After school, I would just do the homework very quickly, just push them out of my mind, because for me, the information that didn't relate to me was clutter, but I knew I had to do it. So nobody could put any pressure on, you're not studying. So I didn't want that hassle. So I knew in this world I had to be educated, and I was quite, aware that I had to do well. So I would do it very quickly, put it aside, and then I would go to my own little world and try to work out the puzzles and the meaning of life. So there I was reading the Bible. It just made no sense. It made no sense. So I thought, well, I'm gonna have to speak to God here. I'm gonna have to communicate with God and ask Him what's happening. So every night I used to talk to God. Yeah. Have conversations. God, if you can answer me this, I would just not go on and reading and trying to search for things. And then it began to happen, isn't it? The source has got amazing ways of communicating, and it began to communicate through really incredible, vivid, prophetic dreams. One of them was just fascinating. I was so young and I can remember it so well. I was in a kind of black hole where the whole human race was there, and there were like black shadows going around doing the same things. And I was the only one who, looking around, seemed to be aware that there were dark shadows. Just looking down, and then I look up. I said, "My God, we're in a black hole. We're in a black hole." No, nobody seems to know. And I was trying to tell people, "Look, do you know we are in a black hole?" But people, "I'm really busy. I need to do this. I need to do that." And then I look up again. I thought, and I saw this light, and then I saw Jesus Christ. And obviously the reason why I saw Jesus Christ, because that was condition, wasn't it? That was part of my education in the nuns school. And I love the story of Jesus Christ. So it was, in the dream, works with metaphors. So it was like the higher self, or the superconscious, or God, or anyway, a being that I had to go to. So it was quite a way up, and there was no ladder or steps to climb up. And I thought, God, I'm just going to have to work out how to climb up here. So anyway, I got my hands. It took me for ages, but finally I climbed up, and there was Jesus walking, and I just ran because I had so many questions to ask Jesus Christ. And then I would wake up. So I haven't got to speak to Jesus. And then I just couldn't wait to go back to sleep, because the dream kept recurring. And every time on my dream was just rushing to speak to Jesus, because I was never able to. But really amazing things through my young age. begin to happen. I remembered, I have no idea how I came across this. I saw a packet of tarot cards somewhere. I just took it. I thought, what's this? Because I was never shown up anything about tarot or divinations or anything. I thought, my God, what's this? And I read it, and I was mesmerized. And I actually got it. I understood it straight away. And I remember doing a reading about something I had the feeling wasn't going to go very right. And I did the reading 16 times, and I got exactly the same cards. I couldn't believe it. And what was that happened? So I thought, oh, okay, so this is a tool that you can use. I already knew something wasn't, and then the tools pointed out to what that was, kind of thing. My greatest guidance was premonitions. And in the past, I used to have really good premonitions when something good was about to happen, so I would get excited. Or really bad premonitions when something not good was going to happen, which I did dread because it could happen. Eventually, through my journey, I realized that it was not right or wrong, and then the bad premonitions never came, only good premonitions. So that was taken out. It was part of the duality of the world. And something that I remember I could never deny was my intuition. My parents could not work out my lack of logic and reasoning. When they used to ask me, why don't you do that? And explain to us logically why you're not doing it, I would say, because my intuition says no, I have no reason for it, I have no explanation, and I'm not going to do it because I will not deny it. They found that really, really, really difficult, which is totally understandable from their point of view. But I just couldn't go against it. It's just, I couldn't. Because it was wrong. I had to follow it. However crazy it could seem to the self-conscious mind or to other people. And I believe that was my greatest ally and the force that took me there. Yes, knowing what to do. And even if I fail, there was a learning from that. So that was okay. And I failed so many times, trust me. And I had no problem failing. I never did. I was never scared of failing or anything like that. I welcome failure. I stand up again and continue. For me, that was making you stronger. So it got to a point that I went and researched religions, every single modality that there was around, and Spain was just too small for me. I knew I had to leave the country to expand my horizons and try to see if I could find somebody who was enlightened. At that time, I didn't know that it was called being enlightened. I saw somebody who knew the truth and could guide me, because I couldn't find anybody in my immediate environment and anywhere that I searched. And we didn't have at that time the website and all the facilities we have now. So I had to come up with a very good plan to tell my dad that I wanted to go to England, and he had to support me to start with. So it had to be good. So then I went, sat down with my dad. And Dad, I really would like to do computer science because that was the best education. But if I go and learn English for a few months in England, about 3 or 6 months, then that would put me in a very good situation. And with the computer science and English, I think I'll get a very good job and a very good career. My dad knew totally that was a plan, and I didn't mean what I was saying, that I was just looking for something. And he looked at me and said, okay, yes, whatever, because he just didn't know what to do with me, bless him. But somehow he said to me once that in a way he didn't understand me, but in a way he kind of couldn't disagree with me, that he admired the fact that I was looking for something and nothing could get on the way, that kind of like that's why he supported me. My mom, bless her, the day before I left to England, she came and said, look, I really love you, you are my daughter, but the happiest day is going to be the day you leave the house. because I was too high energy for her. She was completely the opposite, bless her. She, when my dad and I couldn't and we were like the living manifestation of truth. Of course, we would say white lies if we had, but we couldn't maliciously say anything wrong or do anything malicious to somebody. There was my mom and my sister who would have no hesitation to lie and do whatever they were. It was such a polarity. So I had a very, very good training on people lying to me, because my mom she couldn't help it. She was just lying. She just had constantly really, you know, ill intentions towards everybody. Was on her field. It was incredible how she was. I was always exposing her. That's not true. You're lying. You're doing this because of that. So obviously, I was spoiling her manipulative ways of doing things, which was she was quite ingenious, and so was my sister was even better. She was a great trickster. It took me ages to work it out, and I love them. We get on really well now. Yeah, we know how we are. You know, we agree to disagree, and it's all good. The family is never been more united. It's just family is family. It's how it is. We accept each other how we are, and that's good. And whenever they need help, they always come to me, and they know that's how it is. And so when I came to England, that was my real startup. When I began to open channels and begin to tap into other realities, it became absolutely mind blowing what I went through. And the first thing I did, I thought, well, if God is not talking to me directly, although that He's doing through dreams, and I still have got so many questions to ask, maybe I can speak to the spirit world. Maybe that's less busy, and I can actually have a chat with them, and they can give me the answers to anything. I'll try anything. So then I went and bought this book that somebody told me was very, very good about connecting the psychic world and the spirit world and the angels. So hey, the angels sound good, let's just try the angels. um, so I read the book very thoroughly, step by step.